Razorback Talk. For the fans, by the fans. This is Inside the Hawg Pen with your hosts, Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Hawg Pen special 2-hour edition. Joined by Marcus MC Carlton. I am Razorback Zach from the Central Arkansas Hawg Pen, along with our brand new co-host back for her second week, Sara Swish Vogel. What's up, team?
What up?
So before we get things started, we got to let everybody know, MC, you're our tech guru. Why don't you let them know?
Well, so apparently Facebook and StreamYard. StreamYard is the host service that we use to do the show every week. StreamYard and Facebook are doing their impression of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and they're not speaking to each other right now. So if you want to watch, you can go to our Facebook page, and we've put a link on there for the YouTube version of tonight's show. And I'm going to show you right here. So you can see this is on Inside the Hawg Pen's Facebook page on our post that we make every week about the show tonight. So you can see that we've put the link in there and we've got it to where you can comment. So if you still want to comment on Facebook, go ahead and comment on Facebook and then we'll pull it up like this so everybody can see your comment. Now, if you have a YouTube account, and you have a personalized YouTube account, meaning you can log into YouTube, then you can comment in the chat like normal, just like you normally would. So, Stephen G's talking about it already. He's like, so will there be more than just me in the YouTube chat? Very possible tonight. Very possible that we'll see a lot of YouTube traffic in the chat tonight. If not, we got a workaround set up here, and the show goes on, so we figured out a way to put a Band-Aid on it and make it work for tonight. But hopefully before next week, we can get YouTube not YouTube, but Facebook and StreamYard in some, sit-down negotiations to where they can actually speak to each other again.
With that being said, welcome to the show, everybody. Sara, how are you doing?
I'm here.
She's here.
Aren't we all? That is like perfect for the bye week. We're all just kind of here,
right? We're just here. Hey, leave us a review. Whether I say whether you're watching us on Facebook, but you're not, so that's fine. But hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel since you're here, because we've got a lot of special things coming up. Of course, the Man Cave shows has officially relaunched. We're back. But MC, you and I have something in the works for a different select group of fans. Coming up this basketball season. We're going to test it here soon, but it's our version of the Manning cast during the non-conference schedule of Arkansas basketball. So it is going to be a live reaction. I get to finally see how many blood vessels MC will blow in his forehead during live in-game reaction of Arkansas non-conference basketball. So that's going to be fun. Sara, we didn't include you, but we figured you'd be at the home games.
Most of them,
we're just.
My question is when I do the Woman Cave show.
I mean, I'm open.
Be the trendsetter,
I'm open for that if you want to. I'm almost terrified, but I'm okay. I don't know. I'm scared, MC. I'm scared.
Well, after it might be educational for me, because after what I learned from some of our off-the-air conversations this past week, it might be very educational for me to sit down and watch the Woman Cave show. So
we could call it living in college as a 20-something.
There you go.
Hey, that works.
That would definitely be educational, because I am a long way from there.
Our team chat just it was unique.
Yeah.
Let's
if
put it
you
like
know,
that.
you know. We'll just leave it at that.
Let's put it like that. Hey, let's jump right into this. And of course, the big news of the week. And I said this Saturday night. By the way, thank you to everybody who tuned into my what I like to call the rant show Saturday night after the Mississippi State Arkansas game, the 7-3, whatever you want to add.
Dude, I don't even have a word for it.
I do, but my daughter's watching, so I can't really say it. But that is our.
It was a soap opera.
That was our highest viewed, highest rated, highest commented show in almost a year.
People were pissed, man.
Hey, and they had every right to be. I know I was. So let's jump right into this. Sunday morning, we all got the notification. The heavens opened, and the angel said, "Dan Enos, you are fired." I needed to. Hey, you know what would have gone there? Vince McMahon going, "You're fired."
Yeah, that would have worked.
Oh, I was thinking of what's that show that Trump used to have where he used to yell at people and fire them?
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
Yeah.
You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired.
So Dan Enos has been fired, and he didn't make it 8 games. And Sarah, before we get into what you're seeing and what you're hearing up on the Hill, because I know you have the inside scoop. MC, my biggest question, is it too little too late? Is this putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound?
Well, and it's funny you say that because that's pretty much the exact analogy that I've used on Twitter this past week. I mean, it was a move that had to happen. You had to do it, okay? Because Dan Enos had completely lost everybody on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, you saw
it. And whether some of the other offensive coaches would admit it or not, he lost them too. And it's just, it had to happen. I mean, you know, hindsight's 2020. You can go back and say that dude never should have been hired in the first place.
I would just like to point out, I was never on the hired Dan Enos train.
Hey, that was a called play, Chuck, and Zach called it. So,
and I called his firing Saturday night too.
But I'm of the opinion that, you know, while you may see a little bit of a spike in, you know, players' mojo or their passion, or they look a little re-energized. I mean, we still got huge problems on the offensive line too.
Well, and I wanted to get to that in just a second, but I wanted to get the mood of, I guess, the football team, Sarah, up there on the Hill. Are they breathing a sigh of relief? Is there a new air around the team? I mean, what are you hearing? What are you seeing?
From what I've heard, I know everybody's a lot more excited now. I think especially with having this as a bye week, they now get 2 weeks to kind of get back together. But I think KJ's ready to be KJ again and play his style, whereas I feel like he's been forced into a box the last few weeks with play calling. And everybody wants to say, why didn't he just call his own plays? But that's not how it works. Anyway,
I have my thoughts about that too, by the way.
I mean, he can't call his own plays in the middle of the game. No one else will know what's going on, you know? So, while I get it, I think he's excited to be back kind of, I don't want to say it because I hated him as an OC, but back into like a Briles style kind of offense versus this pro style that no one was prepared for, obviously.
Well, and while Briles had his shortcomings, that he did run a style of offense that catered specifically to KJ's strengths. And
yes,
and just like you said, you know, KJ was kind of forced into a role where he was not set up to succeed. He was set up to fail because he was being asked to do things that are not exactly his strongest skills. And that's not a knock on KJ. It's just, you know, everybody's got something that they do better than they do something else. And KJ's game is that quick hit, you know, don't have to look through 4 progressions. You've got a hot read, and then you've got your safety valve, and then that's it. You know, that's more of his game. That's more of what we've seen from him in the past. And the quicker he can get rid of the ball, you know, the less chance he has of getting smoked on every single play.
Well, and that was one thing that I saw too, is that he's taking a whole lot more time and he's staring down receivers. It did not look like the offense or even KJ that we've seen. And Sarah, you made a good point a minute ago that what would be wrong with KJ calling his own plays from the field? I mean, yeah, I get it. It doesn't work that way. However, what if now go with me on this one. What if Kenny G, you know, called a play off of his saxophone. Just kidding. I had to throw that out there. What if Kenny G calls a play, but then tells KJ, if you see something different from the defense, audible out of it with, X, Y, or Z?
Then the offense is prepared for that. For me, it's, I played college basketball. And so it's like me telling you, run a box in 2. You have no clue what I'm talking about. Like, you would have no clue. And so I feel like some of those offensive line, wide receivers, whatever, would literally look at KJ and be like, what the hell did you just call? We didn't practice this. Whereas Coach G might prepare them for that, and they've practiced that. If that makes sense.
MC, refresh my memory. Kenny G was starting quarterback for Ohio State under Urban Meyer.
Yes.
What style of offense did he run up there? Because that was what, 10, 11, somewhere in there?
Well, it wasn't 10 because Urban wasn't there in 10. That was still sweater vest dude.
That was still Tressel.
It was, I think it was around 13 or 14, somewhere around in there when Urban Meyer got there. I mean, it was not, he didn't run the Tim Tebow offense that Urban had at Florida. It was more of it was a little bit, if I'm remembering correctly, which my memory may or may not be right, but it was a little bit of RPO. It's kind of a hybrid between an RPO and a pro set, because he did have some dropbacks, but even though he wasn't a true dropback style passer.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, you've got 4 games to turn it around. You've got 2 weeks to get KJ out of whatever funk he's been in with Anus into, getting him back to the way it was supposed to be. Now, that being said, the other big question, what happens now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a wild card. I mean, I think there's, I would feel a lot better about this next upcoming game if it was a home game rather than going to not just on the road, but you're going to the Swamp, a place that Arkansas has never won, a place that is always tough to play no matter how terrible Florida is. And Florida's not great. I think they're, from what we've seen to this point, I think they're a little better than we are. But that's just an added layer of difficulty because you're bringing this new offensive set. I say new. It's basically a simplified version of the playbook. That's what Coach Pittman was saying. That's what KJ said on his interview with Phil Elson and Matt Jones on halftime. He said it's just they were going to simplify everything and try to make it a lot easier and do more of what they were doing in practice. What I don't understand is we've had several people come out and say that the offense that was being seen in practice was not what was being run on Saturdays.
I was just fixing to ask.
Yeah. Trey Biddy was one of the big guys that said, he was one of the media members, and I think Mike Irwin kind of agreed with him on this, is that what they were, what was being done in practice was not carrying over. And even Pittman himself said when he was talking about rolling the pocket to get KJ, rolling the protection to get him out of the pocket, it's like, yeah, we worked on that in practice, but it didn't show up on Saturday. Okay, well, my question is, you're the boss hog, man. Why are you not getting on the headset saying, hey, what the hell? Why are we not doing what we did in practice?
Sarah, what do you think?
I just want to see a first down. Saturday was so pitiful. It was so bad.
That was bad.
Look, I
have sat through some stinkers.
It was so bad, I went to work so I could get.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit.
I started cleaning my apartment.
I have sat through some stinkers, but that one's got to be top 3.
That had to be. I mean, in all fact, so I said this Saturday night when the player of the game is the punter.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to harken back to a couple of things I said on Saturday for those that didn't get to watch. Why in the hell? Because we're going to get to Pittman's press conferences here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But why in the hell did we punt from the Mississippi State 40 instead of letting Little kick the damn ball? He's got the leg. Let him kick the damn thing.
Well, because Sam admitted he didn't know what to do.
You don't say that.
I would if he had said, "Yeah, we made the wrong call there," I can totally live with that.
Yeah.
But to say that you don't know, I mean, I kind of had a little, bitch fit on Twitter about that specific comment, because I was like, dude, you're making $6 million a year and you're going to sit there and say, I don't know. No, you pick something, you stick with it. And if you're wrong, okay, that's fine. Be wrong, but don't ever say you don't know.
Be confident in it.
I kind of like that he said he didn't know, because he didn't try to push it off on somebody else or whatever. He genuinely said, I don't freaking know.
Well, and I mean,
well, but still, if you're making $6 million a year and you're supposed
you should have known. Don't get me wrong.
All the decisions, all the decisions come from you. Sorry, MC. All the decisions come from you.
You're good. My problem is
final guy, so I don't get it.
My problem is strictly from the vantage point of him admitting that he didn't know, instead of saying, "Yeah, we made the wrong call there." If he says we made the wrong call,
I don't think it would have been
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it at all. But to sit there and say, "Oh, I got caught up in the moment and I didn't know what to do," it's like, dude, you're trading in your shovel for a backhoe here as you're digging the hole.
So I guess my biggest question is, number one, sticking with the Dan Enos firing, and then we'll get to everything else in a second. Is this the only domino to fall, or do we see another coach let go at the end of the season? Sara, you're up there on the hill. Is there any rumblings? Is there any smoke?
The O-line coach,
Kennedy.
Is he
looking for Kennedy?
I haven't heard. This is nothing coming from the hill or nothing. This is just me saying, get him out. If we lose to FIU, gone. Please.
If we lose to FIU, Pitt's got to go too.
If we lose to FIU, you got to burn it down. You got to burn it down. I mean, that's even with
the MC's
terrible
fire.
Even as terrible as we've played this year, we should be able to roll out the scout team and beat FIU.
See, I heard that about Mississippi State, and we lost to them.
Well, I mean, the Mississippi State game scared me from the get-go. I mean, I've got text messages from some of my buddies. I'm like, dude, we're going to get beat Saturday. I have no faith that we can beat this bunch.
We made the backup quarterback look like a Heisman winner.
I mean, it was
okay, but let it be known that their backup also played at an SAC school, didn't he?
He transferred from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he's transferred.
He's not no random backup that has never played before like ours.
But do you think? Okay, so you're good. No, you're good. Did you just steal my F-bomb?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
I said before.
Oh, all right. I was, So let me jump over here to the comments real quick. It's Loki versus Steven tonight.
They're just
in the
Hog back and forth.
And the Hog Wild Live fan feedback. Stephen G says there's a lot to discuss.
We're slowly unpacking it. Yeah.
Wipe my feet. He says, so will there just be more than just me in this chat? I hope so. Is there more staff changes coming? I think so. With an offensive coordinator, you're gonna have to. I hope this isn't a Reggie Herring type situation where you coach the bowl game and it was just a complete flop. But if Kenny G does well, Kenny Guyton could probably be. You could throw his name in the hat for offensive coordinator. Stephen G says, surprised Zach didn't have a thank the heavens Enos is gone video. Saturday night's show was that.
Yeah, that was. I hate that I had to miss that, but I had family obligations, and but I missed a good one.
Loki is currently creating ideas for Sara's new show. It says, get Katie and Sara together and let them have a show. Katie being my other half, by the way. It looks like everybody's finding their way over from Facebook. If you're just joining us, welcome to our YouTube exclusive. Due to technical difficulties between Facebook and StreamYard, we are on YouTube and Twitter tonight. The Happy Lovest Good Time Show with Sara and Katie. I mean, we whittle that down a little bit. We might have something there. Stephen G says, Enos shouldn't be the last person fired. Why is y'all's all-line coach still hired? It wouldn't be a good look to fire both of them in the same week. I mean, I don't know
that. I don't see Kennedy going until after the Mizzou game. you've already got more guys taking on more responsibility with losing Enos on the offensive side of the ball. And I don't know that you've got anybody else on staff that you could kind of promote over to interim offensive line coach. You know, they had a GA step up to be wide receivers coach, and I cannot remember the kid's name now, but he's a young guy.
I've got the perfect guy that will coach the offensive line.
My question is,
his name is Sam Pittman.
At first I kind of questioned my question why Kennedy didn't go before Enos, but then when I started remembering some of the stuff at the beginning of the season and some of the press conferences now, it seems like a lot of the pushback was against Enos. So I'm hoping that Kennedy does his job and we look good for 3 games and he doesn't have to go. But
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, this is a college football. But at the end of the day, for these guys, this is a job. And if you don't do your job, guess what? You're done. And it sometimes it lasts 12 games, sometimes it lasts 8, sometimes it lasts 3 in other conferences. I've seen other coaches get fired right after 3 games for this stuff. Now, I will tell you this. And by the way, we're imploding our show lineup because we're squirreling, and this is what we do here.
What's new?
Anybody that is calling for Hunter Yurachek to be fired as well, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. You're just plain ignorant.
I have seen a little bit of that on Twitter.
Why?
Well,
why?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a leg to stand on there because, I mean, pretty much every other sport is succeeding at very high levels. It just so happens that your biggest moneymaker is the one that's in the toilet right now.
But not everything's about football.
But football feeds everything.
Football's your cash cow. But at the same time, an argument. But before Sarah's head explodes.
Soccer and volleyball and track and field are trophy cows. Trophy cows.
Damn it, I was trying to beat her before her head exploded. Speaking of, I believe soccer SEC champs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want an AD fired, but you're SEC champs. You're the track capital of the world.
And volleyball's in first place right now, about to win an
volleyball's
SEC
in first place.
And then you've got one of the most
basketball's
stacked
top
rosters.
25.
I was going to say, you've got one of the most stacked rosters I've seen in the last 20 years in basketball coming up. I mean, you want an AD fired. Do y'all not realize? Here's the thing. You want to know what really grinds my gears? I pulled that off kind of good off the fly.
Tell us, Peter.
That was smooth. Anyway, do y'all not realize that if you fire the head football coach and you fire the AD, you're setting the program back another 5 years?
Did we not just do that at the end of 2017? And y'all remember what a crap show that was?
Hold on.
I kind of wonder if the Duke game for basketball, if they put it in the football stadium, would bring more people than the football game.
Hey,
there's no doubt. There's no doubt. You'd have 50,000 there to watch that game.
At least.
That's an idea.
We're
going to it's going to be the end of November and it's going to be cold.
So
I'm out there wearing hardly anything to watch that game. I do not care.
Yeah.
Okay, MC, her internet cut out and it froze, and all we heard was, "I won't wear anything to watch that game."
Yeah.
Hardly anything.
That's kind of what it sounded like, because
it kind of reminds me of the little toothbrush thing she was waving around in pre-show.
Yeah, the internet froze at just the perfect moment there, and but
that is one game. That is the one game that I will do anything to be at. I do not care if I am I'm scared of heights. If I'm in the nosebleeds, I do not care.
Oh, just to be in the building for that one is going to be that is going to be an atmosphere like I don't even know what to compare it to. I mean, the closest thing would be
come to the game
and pay $500 a ticket.
Yeah, can you get me
your
in?
Media.
You got a Twitch there, Sarah?
Get a media pass.
They don't. So there's a story behind
You
that.
are media.
This is true.
We aren't recognized media by the university.
Yeah,
exactly. We're amateurs.
Yeah, we're amateurs.
Speaking of 2017, I got something I want to show you. We're gonna squirrel for a minute, and I'm gonna show you an image from the very first Inside the Hawg Pen that launched in 2017. This was the very first show I ever did.
Woo!
That is a still from the very first show.
Calm down, ladies.
Yeah,
Calm down.
Why do you look like you're in a college dorm room?
Essentially, that is what this one-bedroom apartment was.
You look like.
It was about the size. It was about the size of a broom closet, basically. But that is
you've got the flag hanging to cover the mold in the wall.
No, there's a hole in the wall behind that flag, actually. So that's why that flag was there. But I wanted to show that because it is our anniversary show tonight. MC is approaching 2 years in March, I do believe.
February 8th.
February 8th.
Because my first show was the night that Arkansas upset Auburn.
So Stephen G says your hat is wrong in that picture. You are correct. That was the early days. And Loki, our social media manager, put a video, the first full official video of the first episode of Inside the Hawg Pen on YouTube. So after this show, go back and watch the very first one, and we've come a long way from there. But more on that towards the end of the show. That'll be my final thought. Let's go back over to the Hog Wildlife fan feedback. D-Mad from the Man Cave says, y'all don't know what y'all are talking about. I can tell it by the way you're wearing your hats. Hey, by the way, if y'all didn't watch the show Saturday night, we had a dude on there. Dylan and I were rocking and rolling, going back and forth. The fans were great. And then there's always one. And he told me that I was the worst fan, and I was I was 57. He said, you're like 57, your hat backwards.
Yeah.
And apparently because I wear my hat backwards, I'm the reason our football team sucks. I'm the reason our fan base is the worst fan base in the world. So I wear it with pride. So MC and I, Sarah doesn't have a hat.
I'm standing in unity with Zach tonight by wearing a hat and wearing it backwards.
I mean,
I genuinely do not own a hat in this apartment. I looked. But when your hair is this gorgeous, I mean, I'm not balding, so I don't need a hat.
Yeah. Well, luckily for me, the balding is in the back of my head and not in the front. So, you know.
That's for MC.
Hey, the bad thing is, Zach, if you look 57, I'm afraid to ask this dude how old he thinks I am.
So on the text line, I'm getting a text from Mama Linda, by the way. So I think Mama Linda and our number one fan, Casey, is watching tonight. She says, what about KJ? Does he stay or transfer? So here's the thing. I did not know. I thought this was KJ's last year.
Yep, got one more.
There are rumblings, and I'm going to let Sarah take off with this because she looks like she's ready to rock. There are rumblings that he could go to TCU or even Kiffin at Ole Miss. Could he be convinced to stay if we make a home run hire at offensive coordinator?
His mama going to give him two options: stay or NFL. That's what his mama going to tell him.
I want to shake his mama's hand.
There you go.
His mama cracks me up, but I genuinely don't think she would let him leave to go to another school. I think it's NFL or stay.
Huh.
Personally, which, I mean, I could be totally off base with that, and he could end up going back to Bryles. Their love relationship can continue.
Well, Bryles didn't do too hot over the weekend either. He only scored 3 points.
Yeah, they had a rough weekend as well.
So we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue our football conversation. Plus, Sarah and MC's School of Hawg Hoops is coming up. You're not going to want to miss that, getting you all set for the charity game, the charity exhibition game with Purdue, 3 o'clock Saturday inside of Bud Walton. You're watching and listening to Inside the Hawg Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Back right after this. welcome back to Inside the Hawg Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Due to technical difficulties, we are not on Facebook tonight. We are just on YouTube and Twitter, so we thank everybody for joining us who can make it over here to YouTube. I got to talk about this for a minute. Of course, we've got other squirrels we can throw stones at. But have y'all seen Pittman's press conferences as the season progresses, and then the last couple that he's done last week, and then right after Mississippi State, and especially the one on Monday, have y'all seen that?
Yes, I have.
So I have to ask, and Sarah, you said this in pre-show, that you like how honest Sam Pittman is in these press conferences. But again, like MC and I were talking about earlier, if you're making $6-7 million a year and you come out publicly and say, I don't know, that's kind of a bad look, don't you think? Being too honest?
I'm 50-50 on it. So a lot of the stuff he's saying, I'm glad he's saying it and actually taking like ownership of it, not like, because he easily could have said, oh, Dan Enos didn't call it and he's getting fired, so oh well. But he genuinely said, I don't know. And then he genuinely said like his offense wasn't fitting with who we have. Like it makes me feel a little bit better because, we're getting answers from him versus knee management answers. That's I can't stand. Yeah. I hate half donkey answers. Like it makes me so.
You can say half-ass answers. Trust me, my daughter is watching because here it is. There's her comment. She's talking about
half donkey. I like it.
She has heard much worse from her father. Trust me. So,
but that's genuinely what it was. Like a lot of press conferences are half-ass answers, but his are. True, vulnerable, like, hey, we're trying to fix it kind of answers.
At the same time, though, here lately, a lot of people have said that he's gearing more towards coaches talk, kind of how we heard from Chad Morris. Not to that extent, but it's to kind of cover up, Eric Jernigan says, all right, I'm over wallowing in self-pity about the football team. Dumping Enos was the right call, although I'm pretty sure it's too little too late for the season.
Yes, because it was see, I've heard since before the season started about how the running backs and KJ hated what Enos was doing, and it wasn't working. And I've heard it every week since.
Yeah. Well, to me, you could just kind of tell. I mean, we've all seen the still frame of KJ walking off the field, rolling his eyes. We've all seen that.
Okay, so did he really roll his eyes, or was that just a poorly timed photo?
He rolled up.
Yes. We'll just say yes.
I will say from where I was at on the other side. We were talking about it with people who were on that side right there.
I will say this.
He definitely rolled them.
I will say this. The two games I went to Dallas to the A&M game. I went to Oxford for the Ole Miss game.
You're never allowed to go to a road game again.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm never going to A&M again. Never.
Body language speaks volumes. And there was a lot of WTF type of body language in both of those games from several different players on the offensive side of the ball. I saw it more at A&M than I did Oxford just because I was sitting right behind the bench. But from the moment that Luke Haas got hurt, and I mean, that was early. That was like second, third play of the game. Yeah. When he come back out with his arm like this, all wrapped up, Zach, I think I sent you the picture.
Yep.
From that moment, when people started seeing him on the sidelines, you could just see a collective shoulders drop and heads kind of go down a little bit. And it just seemed to get worse and worse.
You said you noticed it at A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because that was
when I noticed it the game before.
What was that?
Yeah, where did we play at?
BYU?
No, that was BYU. You're right.
Yeah.
BYU?
I noticed it at BYU. I said he looks out of it at the end of the game. After they kept calling the 4 false starts in a row on the same guy.
Good
Speaking of which, she has found her way from Facebook to YouTube. We've got royalty.
Hey, there we are.
Casey Sutton is in the house. For those that don't know, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face, she has kicked Cancer's ass twice. So she has rightfully earned the title of ass kicker and number one fan. She says, "Hey guys, how do you think Kenny G will do, and who should we look at for a replacement?" We touched on this before the break. MC, go ahead and take this one.
I mean, well, first off, how do I think he will look? He can't look any worse.
I mean,
there's nowhere to go but up. I think you will see a bit of a spike in, I said this in the previous segment. You'll see a bit of a spike in the players' mojo and their on-field, attitude, I guess. You'll see a little bit of that. But what I want to see is how are these guys going to react the first time that there is a 3rd and 4 and we can't convert it and we have to come off the field? Are they are they still going to be behind him, or are they going to slide back into that old habit that's going to be hard to break of, well, crap, here we go again. As far as a replacement, I mean, golly, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I think you got to take into consideration what happens the rest of the season. If Guyton comes in and let's say by some, Jesus walking on water type miracle, they get to 6-6 and the offense is looking more like it has, last year and the year before. I think you got to give Guyton some consideration there, but I mean, I think it just all depends on, and another thing too, let's say they don't get to 6-6. Let's say they finish at 3-9 or 4-8. You may have to promote from within just simply because nobody outside the program is going to come in for what they feel like would be a 1-year lame duck situation.
Sarah, what do you think?
But Sam Pittman's got tons of calls already.
Well, Chloe, wait. Chloe, cover your ears. Bullshit.
Along that line, when I heard Sam say that, I immediately picked up my phone and texted my buddy Rob Mason, and I'm like, you better be one of these dudes that's called Pittman.
Here's a name that nobody's thought of, and I get it. His first stint in the college ranks wasn't that great. But
no, you're not going here. Are you okay? All right, lay it on me.
What about former Pulaski Academy head coach Kevin Kelly?
God, I knew it. I mean,
do you know how bad Arkansas football is? Do you know?
It can't.
Arkansas State high school football. I'm not talking about University of Arkansas football.
Right.
Compared to other states, I don't want a high school coach out of Arkansas.
I mean, you can't do any worse.
There was, at
least with Kevin Kelly, because I've seen him coach, and I was in school when this guy was coaching, so I know how fired up he can get on in practice, because I've had access to that, and I've also seen him in game. And at least I can say this: if somebody screws up on the field, he's gonna get pissed. I don't see that on the Arkansas sideline.
I don't know enough about college football OCs or whatever, but I genuinely think they keep Coach G. KJ stays another year, and then they hire somebody. I genuinely think that's what happens.
You think they hire? Okay,
I can see that.
So you think they hire somebody for Jacoby Criswell, and if he stays, Malachi Singleton?
Correct.
See,
I think Coach G and KJ have a really good relationship based on the interview I saw with him.
Strangely enough, I like that idea.
You brought up something I want to touch on here. Malachi Singleton. If KJ ends up coming back here, I have a gut feeling Malachi hits the portal.
Okay.
If he's not already planning to hit the portal. You can't expect guys that come in with the accolades that he came in with to set for 2-3 years and never see the field, and especially when you're in the middle of a season like what Arkansas is in right now.
True. Dennis Gamble, who is the one responsible for the show Saturday night, he made it a very good point that we should do an emergency show. So I credit him for it. He says, I think what bothers me most of all is that Pittman didn't observe and act on axing Enos before he did. Proves he was not connected with what was going on. 100%. 100%. And that's kind of what I was getting at. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where we're all at is we don't see any reaction out of Pitt at all except my bad. That falls on me.
Well, and there's a fine line there. And I know I said that, kind of what the hell, like he should have been more involved, but there is a fine line between micromanaging your guys to death like Bobby Petrino did and being way too trusting of your guys to do the right thing, which is where I think Pittman fell. I mean, you had one extreme to the other because it was obvious that Petrino had his hand in every single thing because when he left, the Ferrari went way off the road, off into the cornfield. But as far as Pittman, I think he's kind of let his own guys, he's trusting that they're going to do their job and they're going to do their thing the way that he wants it done. And from the defensive side of the ball, spot on. You can let those guys go do their thing and they're going to do it. But from what we're starting to read about with Enos and, him not getting, and this is something that really got me. I'm like, why would you not do this? But apparently he never got with KJ to say, all right, what do you like to run? What's comfortable to you? What do you not like to do? To me, that should have been the first thing he did when he was hired, knowing that KJ was, because, let's go back to preseason. KJ was number 1 or number 2 expected to be best in the conference quarterback.
He was him and
Daniels from LSU.
Yeah, him and Rocket were deemed the best running quarterback duo.
The best combo, the best running back quarterback combo in the conference.
Now,
and they both have just their play has been destroyed.
And of course, Sarah's fixing to jump on this because I know she knows probably where I'm about to go. What are the chances that Rocket magically is healed, like Benny Hinn's touching him or something, and he just magically comes back?
The bodies hit the floor.
Question
not drowning pool, Benny Hinn.
So about Rocket, just a pet peeve of mine as a college student who attends her classes sometimes.
Are we sure about that?
Anyway, he literally had an event at Walmart but didn't show up, and Cam Little went to a Derek McFadden instead.
Yeah.
And he was in Dallas working on his knee. Why is this kid not going to class? Like, you're openly saying your kids don't go to class. They did the same thing with Nick Smith Jr. He was in California. Why aren't they going to class?
Were they okay? So I'm only asking this because I want to throw the other side of the ball at you. My wife is a small college instructor. She has multimodal classes to where some kids come face to face, others do online, or they do a Zoom. Maybe
can you dumb that down for those of us that were C students? What multimodal?
Yeah, so you have an option.
Multimedia is a better word.
That's a better word. That's a better word. But you can come face to face, or you can treat it like an online class, or you can do a hybrid to where you watch a Zoom link.
So the thing is, if you are getting an in-person degree, there is only a certain amount of class hours you can take online, and you have to decide that next week if you want for next semester. So he would have had to known he was going to be injured 5 months ago.
Or he might have just, and it may be different for athletes. They may have.
Or he's an athlete and he's getting a hall pass.
I still stick to my.
Which drives me nuts.
And shout out to Adam Hall, Matt Hart over at Hog HQ. They did a fantastic show. MC is going to be on in 2 weeks. I was on last Sunday and I asked Matt about that injury, and I asked it. He said and Matt's an insider, so he knows more than I do. He said Rocket is legitimately hurt. I disagree based on what I've seen, but the problem is if he's actually injured, he wouldn't have gotten injured if he didn't put on that extra 15 pounds. That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that either.
I think he's actually hurt and is healing pretty much. Livy Dunn got threatened. She had a pass. Rocket ain't getting threatened. But anyway, Rocket, I think, is healed, but will not play to ruin his NFL chances.
Hey, MC.
Yo.
Doesn't that sound like somebody else we know?
It sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah.
Where have I heard this story before? Where have I
It's
heard this
literally
song before?
the same thing on the injury report, knee management.
Yeah. Well, and if you look when Pittman is asked about it at his press conference, he kind of has that same look that Musselman had of like, very disinterested in the question. Like, I don't want to talk about this.
I genuinely think both coaches wanted those players to play, and their trainers, which aren't the trainers through the university, they're a random trainer 600 miles away, are telling them not to play. And I think that's where the coaches get.
Wasn't it Nick Smith, one of his trainers was like associated with Clutch Sports, who was running all of his NIL stuff for him. So yeah, Zach's making me eat a little crow on that one. So we'll just move on from there because I don't like eating crow.
I just wish the university would hide the fact that they're not here, because it makes all of us other students think, why do they get a pass and we don't? Because I genuinely have migraines and told my teacher I had a migraine and still had to show up for a test. But Rocket's in Dallas and can do what he wants.
Nick Smith was in LA doing what he wants.
Yeah, he was in
also
LA.
just getting sports management degrees.
Anyways, all right, enough football talk. We're off this week. It's a bye week. Bye week's going to kick our ass. Bye week's going to kick our ass by at least 21 points.
Wait, we have more football? I thought we were done.
Unfortunately,
it's basketball season now, dude.
Unfortunately, the nightmare continues. However, there is a silver lining. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's the must bus. On the other side of the break, I step aside and go to school with Sara and MC, School of Hawg Hoops, and I got something special for both of them. You're watching and listening to Inside the Hawg Pen on Sideline Radio Network. Back right after this. I think I just broke it. Hold on. There we go. All right, welcome back to Inside the Hawg Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Too many buttons at one time, and StreamYard couldn't keep up. Kind of like how them and Facebook right now. Welcome back to Inside the Hawg Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Razorback Zach, Marcus MC Carlton, along with Sara Swish Vogel at the bottom of your screen. All right. So we had UT Tyler inside of Bud Walton last week and completely demolished them. I think they only had 12 points in the first half. And now you have one of the biggest, the first biggest test for this Arkansas basketball team coming up this Saturday. It's a charity event. I don't know, Sara, you can probably tell us more in just a second. Against number 3 Purdue. And take your screenshots, send it to your folks, send it to your friends, bottom of your screen. Purdue, Arkansas, SEC Network Plus. That is the ESPN app. That is the ESPN app.
Yep.
So for anybody asking, that is on the app. If you have cable or satellite, you can watch Arkansas, Purdue. Of course, they're on your local radio stations in your area. Check your Facebook pages for those. 3 p.m. inside of Bud Walton Arena. But let's first start with a recap of UT Tyler, and 12 points in the first half for UT Tyler. I think it was like 42-12 at the first half. Sara, you saw the red-white game. Now we're transitioning into playing other schools. Do you still stick by some of your statements from the red-white game?
Yes, very much so. But also fire Muss. We didn't score 100 points. Jesus.
Well, cut, print, check the gate. Moving on.
But no, it was really good. UT Tyler, I got to sit right on the floor. Was great. Not going to get to sit there the rest of the year, But we got to see Khalif Battle back in action, so that was nice because he was hurt during the red-white game. He kind of, in the first half, but showed out in the second. Graham was out for that game and is possibly out for Saturday. He's having back spasm issues.
Yeah, I've had back spasms before. Those things, it knocks me on my ass. So believe me, though, that's legit. If he's having back spasms, you don't want to mess with those.
Yeah, I think that's still what's going on. I don't know if that's like, I just heard. I didn't watch the presser.
Right.
Usually, I just heard from somebody that's what was going on. I didn't mean that to knock it down. I just think that's what's going on. Brazil is back jumping over people in exhibition games. Homie needs to chill before season.
How does he look? How does he look coming off of his ACL injury?
He literally jumped over somebody on Saturday. Literally during a game, jumped over somebody, landed, and jumped right back up and dunked it on him.
Good. That's what I was going to ask. That's what I was
He's
going to ask. He jumped over the dude, but did he get back up?
Yeah. Literally jumped over him, landed, and went back up and dunked it on him.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty.
What did we call him last year before he got hurt, MC?
So I had a nickname for him that I came up with last year. We had the big facial dunk on the guy that went viral everywhere. I called him Dr. Brazil because he was the only man in the history of basketball to perform a vasectomy in the middle of a game.
Okay, that I didn't know. I just knew.
That's why I called him Dr. Brazil. Because he took more than that man's soul. He took his stones with him. He took his infinity stones.
So you 90-something points. Now I've heard that you can have that this team is pretty deep, and you can have you've got the starting 5, but then you have the ones coming off the bench that can kind of stay with them. So your 2s are kind of like on pace with your 1s. My question though, Muss only plays like 7 guys, so
9 at least this year.
I like that.
You think he's gonna open up his circle of trust a little bit this year?
I think last year we saw him open it up to like 8 or so. I think this year it's going to be 9. I genuinely can't tell you who the starting 5 are right now. I'll straight up tell y'all that Pinion will not play. I'm tired of hearing about it. So people,
what is your hatred for Pinion?
He's not. He's just not as good as the rest of the lineup. He's going to be the same thing he was last year, a throw in for a minute at the end of the half, into halftime kind of thing. It's not going to be a lot of minutes for him. He's just not up to par as the other guys are.
Wasn't he highly touted? Wasn't he a highly touted recruit coming out of high school? So
he played in Arkansas.
He and Darian Ford both were.
Where's Darian Ford now? Darian Ford's at what, A-State?
He's over here with me at Arkansas State.
So he's not an SEC caliber, or is he just not getting the playbook that Muss has got?
Arkansas basketball is not up to par with any of the other states. A 4 or 5 star in Arkansas is a 3 star at best anywhere else. Like anywhere, any other state, you're a 3 star at best. Shoot, I was a 4 star and was horrible. Genuinely, a 4 star here is a good D2, small D1 player.
MC and I both were 4 star, and we're now 1 star.
Yeah, I'm so old they didn't even have stars. I'm older than the stars.
They had the break.
I really do. I think that Pinion is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a phenomenal shooter. I just don't see him getting the playing time that everybody thinks he's going to get.
So is he a role player, you think?
1,000%. He's going to come in either with a minute left to give, Devo,
Davenport,
Ellis,
Ellis, whoever. Yeah.
those guys a break. He's not coming in to, play a lot. They're going to run a play to get him a shot off at the end of a game or to give somebody a break. Those are the two situations I see him.
So you got Devo coming back. Is Devo becoming that senior leader more than he was in the past few years? Is he becoming that vocal leader on the court? Kind of how the game manager, the quarterback on the field, like KJ is supposed to be for the football team. How does he look around these new guys?
I think what I really like about Devo is he's not super vocal. So I know that's kind of hard for people to hear. He leads in different ways with his energy, with his defense, switching tempos. While he is vocal, he's not overly vocal, if that makes sense. As an outsider,
that makes total sense.
As an outsider just watching the game, you're like, oh my gosh, he's been here 4 years. Why is he not blah, 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 blah. But if you in depth watch the analytics of the game, which it's hard in an exhibition game to see that. But if you see it against Purdue might score 3 baskets in a row, and then it's going to be a stop all by Devo Davis to switch it into our favor. Stuff like that he doesn't necessarily have to be vocal for is what Devo's good at.
If you want to see the prime example of what she's talking about, go get on War Machine 2013's YouTube page. Look at the second half of the Kansas game from the NCAA tournament. That is exactly what she's talking about with Devo, is that he may not be the one out there directing traffic and telling guys where to go, but he's going to be the guy that makes a save on a ball that leads to either Arkansas scoring or Arkansas getting fouled, or he's gonna make a steal that prevents Kansas from going on a run. I mean, that game is Devo Davis, because he just took the game over, and he was the reason that Arkansas ended up winning that game. And I think you're going to see him. He's not going to go and he's not going to score 25 in the second half every game this year. But like Sarah was saying, if there is a big time possession that Arkansas has to have a bucket, the ball's going to go through Devo. He may not be the one to shoot it, but he's going to be the guy that finds the open guy to get the easy bucket.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this, because one of the things that MC and I have talked about last year going into the season, and especially going into SEC play, was the cohesiveness of the team. The team wasn't gelling. They weren't firing on all cylinders. How do they look? I've heard a lot of people say that this team is pretty gelled now versus where the team sat last year.
I think it's hard to tell now because there's so many lineups being played right now. Must kind of let them do whatever against UT Tyler. There's lineups I promise you will never see again, except maybe against Alcorn State or whoever we play on the 6th.
Like Pinion in the starting lineup?
But a lot of them in the starting lineup, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, Chandler Lawson, that one surprised me too.
He actually played really well. I was actually very unsurprised by Bay Fall. He scored.
Yeah. He went over?
We had almost 100 points, and this man didn't score. I was just not. I don't know. I think he's a little, but he's very fresh. He's unlike the other guys. He's never played a college game.
MC, it looks like Chris Faraci finally made it on YouTube. He says, "Finally, I hate YouTube. I had to hack my kid's account." So we're glad everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna blame StreamYard on that one, because StreamYard and Facebook are not working well tonight. So
yeah, we're glad everybody's trying to find their way over to our YouTube channel. Hey, while you're here, subscribe so you get notifications when we go live again, because we're gonna do some special things on YouTube that only a select handful of people will be a part of. It's our version of the Manning Cast. MC and I are going to be giving live in-game reactions on a special edition of MC School of Hawg Hoops. We would have Sara.
Why can't we do an away game?
Nothing says we can't.
I mean, I didn't
We're-
say we
Then
could.
I can
It all hinges on how that first one goes.
If the delay is bad, we can't do it, folks. That's the thing.
If the first one goes as smoothly as a Dan Enos ran offense, then we're probably just going to do it once. But we're going to give it a try. We got to get the whole delay thing worked out. We can't be out here looking like the love child of Dan Enos and Joe Craddock. So
I hate you. You were in my head. I was just fixing to say that. Oh my, verbatim, I was fixing to say that. Son of a.
But
Biscuit.
now, so my thing, I got to do this because I was able to watch a little bit of the bootleg stream on Friday night. Shout out Pinto, ESPNto. Well done, sir. You are the hero that we don't deserve, but definitely the hero we need. And I got to watch, quite a bit of the game. I like the fact you see a lot of ball movement, a lot of quick snap passes, even to the point for me a couple times that I was like, okay, we're overpassing here, but we'd end up getting the bucket, so I can live with it. But you're sharing the ball. L. Ellis is going to be a problem. He's going to be that dude. I think if he's
so quick into the basket.
Yes,
So
he is a point guard that he doesn't play like a point guard. And if you know the game, you understand what I'm meaning. But that dude, he's going to be a matchup nightmare in my opinion. And then I also like, Devo has a reputation for being a lockdown defender. You're going to put what's the kid from Houston, Trayvon Mark. The transfer from Houston, I think he's number 12, I think. If you put him and Devo,
you're on par.
Okay, if you put them two on the floor at the same time, I think that's going to be two of the best defending guards that we've had probably since Corey Beck and Clint McDaniel.
So if only Minifield would have played this year, you would have had them three on defense in the red-white game. I would have never stepped never on the floor. Like that was I'm good. Like
so
Trayvon Mark.
Trayvon.
I had his name wrong.
Arkansas fans like to live nostalgically. So I'm gonna ask the question that everybody's gonna ask, and look at Sarah. Sarah's already twitching. How does this team stack up to that of the 94 team?
God, I hate when you have to compare teams like that.
But again, it's comparing apples to oranges because it's two different. But people are asking that.
Yeah,
it's what I was talking about last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. The game is so different now. Mm-hmm. Like back then, you had a good post player, you had a leader point guard that didn't score quite as often.
So let me rephrase my question then. Muss is in year 5.
Year 5.
Year 5. Okay. We've got 2 back-to-back Elite Eights, 3 straight Sweet 16s.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the year he finally gets over the hump and goes to either the Final Four or the title game?
Man, it's so hard to say in October. It is so hard to say. Now, I will say this. I feel like this team has more potential to get to the Final Four than definitely before last year. Maybe that first Elite Eight team. When I think
Justin Thomas.
Devo was a freshman. You had Justin Thomas. You had the little point guard that wore the headband all the time.
Chris Lee.
No, not Leak. No, not Likes. He's playing in Israel right now. We just saw
Justin Smith. Dusty Hannah's.
I'll have to go look it up. But he was
Jalen
a transfer. Jalen Tate. That's who I'm trying to think of. Jalen Tate.
I was trying to name the 3 players that were overseas that I could remember.
Tate was the one I was trying to think of.
All safe at home, by the way, for everybody who was wondering.
Yes,
they all made it home safe.
Yep, they all made it back. But that team, I felt like, was a bigger threat to go to the Final Four than the team that lost to Duke in the Elite Eight. And I think that this team has more potential than either one of those two teams. If you keep everybody healthy.
That's especially in our 4-5 range.
But
we are very deep 1 through 3/4, but that 4, 5.
That was going to be my question: is if they've got so much depth and there's not much of a drop off between the 1s and the 2s, first team, second team.
Right.
Would that be as big of an issue if somebody were to say get hurt? Because
I'm not even going to put it on them, but there is 3 people I can think. Well, 2.5. There's the third is between 2 people. There's 2 people if they get hurt.
Hey, MC, it looks like we've got a brand new fan this week. Jenna May says, "I was thinking of the only person you would call little." She was trying to name all the players, help us all play call all the players out. Miss Jenna, welcome to Inside the Hawg Pen. Glad you could join us.
That's my friend Jenna. Hi, Jenna.
Oh, look, Sarah's got her own fan base rolling in here.
There we go.
Okay.
See, that's why we brought her in, because she brings the fans with her. So there you go.
Yeah, the Twitter page will be up by next week. Sarah's been busy.
We're gonna have a brand new Twitter page. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see what fans that brings.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun. So,
hey, but Sarah, I think you're spot on. You got to keep your 4 and your 5. That's the position. If there is I don't want to say a weakness, but I don't know what other word to use. A vulnerability, maybe. The 4 and the 5, just because you're so thin at personnel there, that's where you need. You were dogging on Bay Fall a while ago. That's where by the time February, March rolls around, you need him to be able to come in and get 6 or 8 points and 6 or 8 boards. Boards are more important.
I should probably look up stats. He did have a lot of rebounds. I will say that. He rebounded very well. But they also, one thing that will drive me nuts all year, and you will hear me talk about it all season, if they don't offensive rebound, I will lose my ever living mind.
That has been Arkansas's Achilles heel for as long as I can remember, is the fact that we can't offensively, we don't get the offensive boards.
Well, and we
we're not even in the paint to rebound. Like, there's not a single person there.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you've seen the Red-White game, you saw the UT Tyler game. Is it the thing of we don't crash the boards because we're trying to get guys back on defense, or is it just guys standing around?
The first one. They're getting back on defense.
Okay.
The thing is, I played high school basketball. We ran where when we offense rebound, it was usually 3 crash, 2 back.
That's exactly what we did. Yeah.
If you have 2 back and still get beat back, y'all are slow and need to run lines. And that's what needs to happen, apparently.
Y'all remember that scene from Remember the Titans when he says, if you drop a pass, you run a mile?
Yeah.
My head coach, when I played in junior high and high school, if we missed a block or if we didn't get a rebound or we fouled, we ran lines. Suicide lines. I hated them because guess what? My short little 5'1" ass ran every damn week.
I ran a lot in high school, and I was the slowest one. But guess who always started? Because I could hit a shot. That's the only reason.
There you go.
I always came off. I mean, I was never a bench warmer. I just came in off the bench.
I kind of played the role of. I played the role of and I'm going to show my age here by making this reference.
Good,
But I was a midget Bill Lambier, okay?
Oh, MC's going old school.
My job, okay, you can get on YouTube and find Detroit Piston Bad Boys and go look at Bill Lambier. My job was to guard one of the best players on the other team, if not their best guy, but to aggravate him to the point where I got in his head and got him out of his game. Okay, that was my role, to try to get him to get so pissed off at me that either he swung on me or he fouled out every time I got the ball.
I had a dude throwing.
I was the opposite. I guarded the worst person on the team, and then on offense, they were like, stand in the corner. If you catch, throw it over the girl's head and put it in the basket. That was my job.
So I was always the mid-range guy. I wouldn't. They only let me shoot so many times because I was never a shooter.
See,
I could be, but I was the ultimate teammate. I knew my role. Shooting was not my role.
Shooting, I knew shooting and passing. My IQ is here. So
mine was always drawing the fouls. Like I always drew fouls.
There you go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were the fouler like Kamani Johnson.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. So okay. So let me ask you guys this because we've got some big non-conference games before we even hit conference play.
Duke.
I'm gonna say this, and this is not a knock on any of those guys because I met all three of them, and they are some of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. But the problem that I saw from an average fan last year was there was too much me ball. There was too much me ball and not enough we ball. Am I wrong in saying that? Or because it almost we had so many guys trying to get to the draft that were trying to be one and dones. Nobody wanted to stand out, and I say that lightly. I don't mean nobody.
Okay, you're saying three. There was only really two players like that because there's one that I thought didn't do that too much.
No, you're right. But
I love Jordan Walsh.
Yeah, you got Walsh, Black, and the other one.
Walsh, in my opinion, Walsh needed a little bit more of that in him because we didn't see Jordan Walsh to his full potential. We saw more of what Jordan Walsh was capable of in the summer league playing for Boston. That was more of, honestly, what I expected to see from him in the Razorback uniform. But, he was a teammate. He understood his role. He did what he had to do. In certain situations, but there were times I felt like he could have been more aggressive.
I feel that. I think this year, though, there's one person I'm worried about. And as much as I love the way he plays, because that man's got a strap on him and he knows how to get it in the hole, Davenport. I was waiting for Zach to lose it. That's what my tweet said.
So are you afraid that he's going to try to take over maybe when he doesn't need to?
Yeah, which it's a UT Tyler game, do whatever. But in both the red-white game and the UT Tyler game,
Mind out of the gutter, Zach.
In both the red-white game and the UT Tyler game, he shot a few that I was like, dude, you've already missed one or two, like there's somebody open kind of thing, or rushed it where like someone's open, move the ball.
Right.
So
but if he's going to do that, I would rather him do it early.
That's what I was about to say. It's very early, so I don't want to say he's going to be like that, but that's the one that stands out to me. The other one would probably be Battle, but he was hitting them in the second half, so I can't really blame him.
Right. Well, and you know this because you played, and when you hit 2 or 3 in a row and you start getting that feeling that the rim looks like it's, this big around, and you feel like you're not going to miss anything. I mean, shooters shoot. That's what shooters do.
That's
what
exactly
shooters do.
Davenport is going to shoot it. If he's open, he's going to shoot it. Him and Pinion. And I think they both have. Stop reading the comments.
I'm trying not to read the comments because I do have a question that actually makes sense, but I've got to get past all the.
He got to get his composure back.
All right.
See, I think Zach could be rattled on the free throw line in clutch time.
Actually, I wasn't. I was from most of it. I was an 80% shooter for the most part.
Okay, all right.
From the charity stripe. Okay, so one of the biggest gripes I had the last few years was when we get down a lot, we start jacking up threes. Is that? It's one of my biggest complaints. Do we have more inside guys that can actually drive to the basket rather than perimeter shooters, or do you have a nice balance? Or do you have a balance of both?
Ellis, Mark, and Davenport both looked really good getting to the hole.
Yeah,
okay.
Like I said, but they both.
It was the desperation threes that irked me the most out of last year's teams. Not saying they were bad, but I've seen it over. I even saw it out of Mike Anderson's team.
I think for me, they shot a lot of threes in the UT Tyler game. Mm-hmm. So I think I need to see them, which Purdue, I don't know if it's going to be a real game. And by some people won't understand what I mean. Since it's still an exhibition game, it's not real. So I don't know how Muss or the other coach is going to play it. I genuinely think Eddie or whatever his name is going to sit.
Zach Edney.
See
Yeah.
why? If it's it's a top 25, but it's also a charity exhibition game. Why not treat it? I say that. Why not treat it?
Because
Like
we treated all the preseason games last year like real games, and Brazil ended up on the bench.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah.
That's genuinely my answer.
And I mean, the season doesn't start till next Saturday, correct?
The 6th.
2 weeks.
November 6th. It's on a Monday night. Is
Okay.
the first actual game.
So that
And I plan to be there. So
Nice.
so
if y'all see me, come say hi. I don't know where I'll be, but
theoretically, this is like the last game that to kind of
Not-
tweak everything and get everything where it needs to be. But you can use some of the non-cons, some of them, not all of them, but some
Yeah.
of them.
I genuinely think this game, I would include Alcorn State in testing out stuff still.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Well, we've seen what Muss does. You know, he's going to go all the way through December playing with different lineups and figuring out who he feels like he can trust and who he can't. And then by the time conference play rolls around, you know, the last 3 years, he's settled on about 7 guys. And I know you said that's going to go up to 9, but he's going to have his circle of trust, like I was talking about. He's going to have that figured out by the turn of the calendar, January 1. Now, here's my big thing. Here's what I want to see. I do not want to start conference play 0-3 again this year. Okay, we've done that.
So Ken Palm has us going 20-0.
Yeah, to start the season, I saw that. Yeah.
If
Hey.
we start like that, Zach will not let me on this show ever again. I will be unfreaking bearable.
I will. Yeah, same.
No,
Same.
I will. It's an open line. I mean, you obviously did not see the show Saturday night. I mean,
I will be more obnoxious
Well-
than Harvey Updike after he poisoned the trees at Auburn if we start 20-0. Okay, I will be like stupid obnoxious because football, I can yap just a little bit for football, but when it comes to hoops, there is no filter on the trash talk. Okay, the trash talk goes to like, you know, Michael Jordan, Kevin Garnett level
but
when
y'all wanna
Arkansas
see-
basketball's good.
The trash talk is basketball and baseball for me. It's
Yes.
going to be unbearable this year.
not
Yeah.
to be negative Nancy over here. I'm just trying to be the realist. We've seen what happens when we go 20-0.
Honestly, we could go 0-55 as long as when we make it to March, we're 5-0.
March is what matters. March is what matters. I mean,
I know we're not going to go 0-55 or whatever. That was just a statement, Zach.
but I would like
But
to
I
get
mean,
off to a stronger start in SEC play this year, so it doesn't feel like that we're battling from behind the whole season. You know, trying to work on that
Just gonna
that
leave it there.
power ranking. You know, so we don't end up a 7 or an 8 seed again.
I'm just gonna drop that Loki comment right there and let y'all battle it out.
Super.
I genuinely, in the nicest way possible, I do not give a shiznits what happens because we've started 0-5 last year in conference,
Yeah.
or the year before, and we
Well,
made it to the Elite 8 and Sweet 16. I don't care. As long as I can be obnoxious in March, I don't care.
That's fair because that's when your program is made, because you know hardly anybody remembers that Arkansas finished 10th in the SEC last year. What they remember is that you went to the Sweet 16 because you knocked off the defending national champion Kansas.
And you lost to the eventual national champion.
Everybody remembers us
So I mean,
when we literally made it to the Sweet 16. It wasn't they went 0-3 to start SEC. No, it was
Right.
well,
Yeah.
This
so
team's kind of good.
one of the thing, and I remember these shows very, very vividly because every time we'd get on hoops, I'd look at MC and go, "Is it time to hit the panic button yet?" Because we would get up to these big leads, and then start to crumble, and it started to be a repeating pattern. Now I wasn't Dylan. If you're still watching, no, I didn't say the season was over. Pack it in, But is it time to, I was sitting there going, is it time to make a change? I mean, what has to happen? I don't get the feeling we're going to see that out of this team this year.
I don't think so. No, I think I really do. I think this is the year, I think there's more potential here than there was last year and possibly even the year before to make that magical run that we all want to see. Okay. We all want to see that magical run.
I've never seen.
I want to see Musk down.
So, and the stars are lining up because, and I hate to put the card out in front of the horse here, but if you look at the way things are setting up to where regionals are, and then the Sweet 16 Elite 8 round, there is a chance that Arkansas could play their first round and second round games in Memphis. Okay. If that happens, I will walk across that stinking bridge if I have to get there. Okay. That is 62 minutes from my driveway to FedEx Forum. Okay.
There will be no living with him after that.
I will be there. Now, if they get past that, Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is in Dallas.
Oh, road trip. I'm down. I'm going.
It's kind of, it's shaping up. The potential is there. I'm not saying that that's the bracket they're going to get put in, but
if
the potential is
that
there.
Bracket, Zach, there will be a GoFundMe on this page every day. I don't care.
Hey,
I'm going.
I'm down for it.
I will sleep in my back seat to go to that game.
FedEx Forum will be Bud Walton East.
And Final Four is during spring break.
And it's in Phoenix.
Road trip.
Yeah, you better fire up the jet for that one. That'd be a hell of a drive out to Phoenix.
Loki's mind might explode if we pull this off. Last chance, take your screenshots, write it down. There it is, Purdue, Arkansas, SEC Network plus 3 p.m. All right, as we're wrapping up here, I told you guys I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. 7 years of ITHP tonight. This is kind of
day. To the day. How about that?
Day. We were gonna do something special for it. This is kind of my final thought here, and we've come a long way in 7 years. Standing in the bedroom of my 1-bedroom apartment over off of Rodney Parham many years ago, and to now, I never thought it would blow up to what it is today. There's a lot of people to thank along the way. Some thanking you for getting me here. Some of them teaching me of things not to do. We're not going to mention those names. Naturally 4-star. But there's a couple of people that I do want to thank specifically. And I could not do this show week in and week out. And I say that he's the glue that holds us together every week, and it is the damn truth. I could not do this, could not imagine doing the show without him. My buddy, MC, he has taught me a lot. He's become a mentor, but most importantly, he's become a friend. The guys behind the scenes, Justin, Chris, that helped me start it up again, ITHP 2.0 2 years ago when I was ready to hang it up and retire. And then Dylan, for once again, lighting the media company and bringing that up. And then, of course, our statistician who keeps things rolling behind the scenes and our social media manager, Loki. He brand new to the team. And then, of course, she has gotten her feet wet for 2 weeks, and hopefully she is going to be running our Twitter page before too long. Sarah adds a new dynamic to the group. And but can't forget my daughter and, of course, my better half, Katie. Chloe and Katie, they've watched so much Razorback crap. I think they're about done. Thank you, too, for putting up with me and allowing me to be Razorback Zach. But here's to 7 years, and here's to many more. I'm going to keep doing this. I made MC a promise, and I will make this publicly. I will continue to do this as long as you guys keep showing up and keep tolerating me, and I will keep doing this until it is no longer fun. So you have my word on that. But yes, it is 7 years to the day. And if you want to see the original episode of Inside the Hawg Pen, the very first one in its entirety. Loki has put that up on our YouTube page.
That's awesome.
Any more final thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
I will just say thank you for letting me come on board this wild train. This has been a lot of fun for me. This is kind of my escape to, just kind of talk about anything Razorback related or other stuff as it pops up. And you best buckle up, son, because Sara will back me up on this. Basketball is about to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Facts.
Sara, what about you? Any final thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
I was going to tell you that you met Jenna at Rick's party when you had to dial a certain number for Frank.
Oh, yeah. All right, okay. All right. Yeah.
But, yeah, thank you for having me on here. Hopefully I watch what I say and hold during the show. There
is going to be ITHP After Dark. We have another show in the works. It's called tentatively it's called ITHP Uncensored, where anything and everything goes. So I'm in discussions with that and just for y'all for basketball season. But I got one more comment that we need to look at. Loki's telling me from our text line that I need to look at this comment. Chris says, my son on the hill is a lifelong baseball guy. Should have played JUCO ball, but he wanted to come to Fayetteville. I bet he would love to come on the show to discuss baseball. Sara, that might be a good one for you come baseball season to have Chris Faraci's son on there.
Especially if he's up here watching games. We could go live from the Hog Pen, the real Hog Pen.
Oh, there you go. So it'd be inside the Hog Pen, inside the Hog Pen. I like it.
That's where the idea came from.
There you go.
That's why it's called Inside the Hog Pen.
We set up in the Hog Pen every weekend. I mean, I sleep on the sidewalk sometimes. So.
Hey, don't tempt me with a good time. I shoot. Baseball games, man.
You should be coming up this weekend. I'm telling you, this weekend's going to be a party.
Like it.
Right? So
nothing like baseball at Baum except for maybe basketball inside Bud Walton.
Right? And when they're winning.
No, you have – if we make it to Super Regionals and it's in Fayetteville, y'all got to come. Because that is a party.
What do you think?
That is a party. I was at a Super Regional game a few years ago, and it was there are no words to describe it.
It's a time.
Loki says, as we're wrapping up here, Loki says, I think we just went the whole show without an F-bomb.
I watched my language today because you said something about it last time I was on here, and I actually had to go back because I did not think I said it. Like I had to go back.
We don't think we say it either, and then we hear it and we're like, oh, I just said it.
See, this is what scares me about that live reaction show of watching basketball.
That's going to be fun as all get out.
That's what scares me because I tend to say things during basketball games that I don't even realize I've said.
Yeah, maybe I will volunteer for that one.
And well, okay.
I am looking for a job right now, so let's not put me on
that one's only going to be a select few. There's a way on YouTube that you can do it, and only a select few would do that. So I mean, I think it would be okay, MC.
Yeah, if we keep that to some of the non-cons that are not supposed to be the close games, I think we'll be okay.
No, I think y'all need to do it for Duke.
No way.
Y'all might get banned. Y'all might get banned.
I would have to set multiple cameras up here because I do not sit still in games like that. I'm up, I'm moving around. If I'm on this side of the room and we can't score, I'm moving to the other side of the room. I mean,
so we need a wide lens. We need a wide lens.
Definitely need a wide lens.
So,
yes.
Sara, the night I brought MC onto the show the very first time when we upset Auburn, #1 Auburn in Bud Walton.
So
I think I set an apartment complex record for sound for noise complaints because I was running up through here, I was screaming outside, I was stomping. My downstairs neighbor thought there was a dead body that hit the floor. So
you want to hear a funny story about that game?
Yes.
I've lived in Northwest Arkansas my entire life. I just turned 24 years old. You can do the math. I have never watched a full game in Bud Walton on the lower level until that game.
Nice.
So there's a pattern there, you say?
We have not had a losing season since Sara Vogel has been a student here and been to the games.
There you go.
Okay.
You may have to start working on that doctorate.
Us being here, but
Okay.
You may have to start working on that doctorate, Sarah.
hey,
Well-
we're thinking about a master's, so
There you go.
There you go. All right, that's going to do it for us. Next week, same hog time, same hog channel. We may have to do some finagling around basketball season, but that's all right. We're not going anywhere.
We'll figure it out.
For Marcus, MC, Carlton, and Sara, Swish, Vogel, I am Razorback Zach. Thank you all for the last 7 years of joining us here on Inside the Hawg Pen, and tonight with all the technical difficulties. Until next time, so long, everybody.
Yeah.